To celebrate Topps' 70th anniversary, MLB.com posted a call for fans to post their favorite baseball card. For me, this is like asking me to name my favorite child. They're all great, and I'm glad to have them around. However, I can designate my most memorable card, which is the one I remember coming into possession of about 50 years ago. Sometime between the age of 8 and 10, about 1970 to 1971, I dug behind the back seat of my father's 1967 Cadillac Sedan DeVille and pulled out the 1955 Topps number 95 Preston Ward. I don't know who lost that card and when. Could have been my uncle, who would have been in his 20s, but was known to collect cards and stamps, or my teenage brother at the time, but I'm fairly confident it was not left during the assembly of the card by GM. I've kept the card ever since, through multiple bouts of card and comic book collecting, in the process memorizing the cartoon insert on the back labeled, "You're the ump," which quizzed the collector, can a batter run out of the baseline to avoid being tagged? The answer, of course, was no. If he does, he's out. To this day, I still think of that cartoon trivia question when I watch a batter surreptitiously creep towards first base on a passed ball, or try to avoid a rundown between second and third. I always knew Preston Ward was not one of the baseball stars of the 50s, like Stan Musial, Willie Mays, or Hank Aaron, and that at no point would this card ever make me a millionaire, especially because the underside of the caddy's back seats were not kind to the condition of the card. But I've always wondered about Preston as a player, his background, and what we could learn from his life and career. So when MLB.com asked about my most memorable card, I decided to do some research about Mr. Ward and create this video around that notable card. Preston Ward was born July 24, 1927, in Columbia, Missouri, but grew up in Springfield, where he became a baseball and basketball star for Central High School, graduating in 1945. His 16-year professional baseball career began in 1944 at the age of 16 with the Brooklyn Dodgers farm system, but not before he was recruited by Southwest Missouri State, better known at the time as Springfield Teachers College and now Missouri State University, for basketball. Missouri and MLB rules allowed Preston to play college basketball even while in the Brooklyn minor league system. He was MSU basketball co-captain in 1948-49 and twice won all-conference honors at forward. His career was shortened in 1949 through rulings that cost him basketball eligibility when he signed a professional baseball contract. Preston has been enshrined in the MSU Hall of Fame. In 1944, at the height of World War II, Preston was drafted by the Baseball Dodgers of Brooklyn as part of Leo Durocher's nascent youth movement. He came on board with other notable players, including Duke Snider and Buddy Hicks. During his career with 5 different major league teams, Preston played mostly first base, but statistics cite long stints as center field, outfield, right field, third base, and left field. In 1948, Ward became the first Dodger whose major league home run was a grand slam. In 1950, he was traded to the Chicago Cubs and missed the 1951 and 52 seasons due to participating in a little thing called the Korean conflict. In 1953, he was traded mid-season from the Cubs to the Pittsburgh Pirates in one of the typical huge deals of the time. Preston was traded from Chicago along with Bob Addis, Toby Atwell, George Freese, Gene Hermansky, Bob Schultz, and $150,000 for Pittsburgh's star outfielder, outstanding home run hitter Ralph Kiner, along with Joe Garagiola and Howie Pollitt. As the back of his 1954 Topps card says, Press hit a homer in the last game of the 1953 season, which was the 1,197th homer of the season, a major league record at the time. Preston was in the Hall of Fame despite not being officially inducted, as the ball and bat he used for that homer was and perhaps still is on display in Cooperstown. He played for the Pirates from 1954 through the first half of 1956 when he was traded to Cleveland. In 1957, Preston only played 10 games for the Indians, as he was sent down to the Pacific Coast League San Diego Padres. In what has been called, in retrospect, one of the most foolish trades in Major League history, in June 1958, Preston was traded by the Cleveland Indians with Roger Maris and other players to the Kansas City Athletics in exchange for players Woody Held and Vic Power. Outfielder Maris went on to the Hall of Fame career, but Ward would be out of baseball this season. Throughout his career, Preston Ward played in 744 games, accumulating 522 hits and 2,067 at-bats for a 253 average. Not many details of his career or experiences are known, but it appears that during his major league career, he served as a utility infielder and outfielder that can be counted on to fill the lineup gaps for multiple teams, perhaps along the lines of modern players like Drew Butera or Cameron Maybin. Preston Ward passed away in Las Vegas on June 2nd, 2013, at the age of 85. Unfortunately, without digging into Ancestry.com, I couldn't find out any of the details of more than 50 years of his post baseball life, including family and careers. His pro career was not the stuff of Hall of Fame legends. But for at least one person, his baseball card is the most memorable. You might even say that it's my favorite.